Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you may be. Stamp collecting is fun. And today we're going to have a look at 2012 in GB stamps, which I've collected in this envelope. Ready to put into and load up into stock books. Just have a slurp of coffee there. So we'll have the big reveal. We'll also be using the Stanley Gibbons Collect British Stamps catalogue. And I've had a quick look through 2012. There's a lot of stamps in the catalogue that need to be collected, mostly I think to do with the Olympics and the Paralympics. Yeah, a lot of stamps. Wow, that's a lot. I'm just scratching the surface with mine, and then we get Christmas at the end. So we'll do the big reveal. So 2012 envelope goes over there. And these are the only ones that I've got. It's a pretty paltry amount, you may say. But it's the beginning. The beginning, to quote Sir Winston. The Old Curiosity Shop here. So that's a Dickens reference. It was 2011. The Old Curiosity Shop. 77p. So prices are rising by the year 2011. And the Old Curiosity Shop, it shows the Marchioness in the book. It's a set of 4. Is it only 4? But there's other ones underneath it as well, so be careful of those. Hey, my fingers are struggling today. 6, so a set of 6, I have 1. So we keep that to one side there. Maybe others will pop up from that series. And here we have, well, actually one does it not? A Tale of Two Cities. So we're looking here at a longie and 2 shorties. That is interesting, is it not? The birth of bicentenary of Charles Dickens. And they were illustrated by Joseph Clayton Clark, known as Kid. Yeah, excellent. Tale of Two Cities. So we'll keep those there. Maybe more will pop up. I don't want to look at Twinkle just yet. Here we've got some sort of fashion. Not sure about that, if that belongs there or somewhere else. Okay, we'll have a look at Twinkle. So what is it? Well, it's a comic book for small girls, I would say. I would say it would be very, very popular within that genre. 2012 we're looking at, I'm just going through the pages of the Gibbons, Stanley Gibbons. I learnt something new yesterday. That Stanley Gibbons, it wasn't his first name. This does belong here. So that's quite nice, but again, there's a lot of stamps to be collected. Someone's taken a bit of the mickey there, aren't they? Producing all of these stamps. And yes, the comic book series, again, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in the series. Remember when there was only 4 or 6, suddenly there's 10. And collectors in particular are paying the price of that. Yes, we want stamps. Yes, we adore stamps. Yes, we need stamps. But please, comics. So we're looking at comics here. Twinkle is the comic from there. Her Majesty the Queen. So here we've got Trooping the Colour. I'm not convinced that this is from 2012, but I'm all over the place with I'm all over the place with it, to be honest with you. I should do. Oh yeah, it does actually belong by the look of it. This has for once been through the post. Trooping the Colour. There are 8 in the series for the Diamond Jubilee. And I've one of them. Next we've got another. Well, this looks more of a cancel to order rather than through the post. Not sure which I prefer, cancel to order or through the post. Through the post you're going to get a lot of damage. Postmen tend to... No, I'm not blaming postmen at all. But, you know, it's got a long way to go. Or you can just pick them up at the post office and get them cancelled and cancel to order. Thank you very much. Right, there's an 87 one. Here we have another Marchioness, which was pulled out. Pulled out at the same time. Here we've got an asteroid. We'll just have a look at that for a minute. Crater surface during a Rosetta probe's flyby. A flyby night. I'm turning pages again because I don't remember this. My memory is not fantastic, but, well, it's shocking. I tend to think this must belong elsewhere. Would it belong to the space collection? It may well do. It does belong to 2012 anyway. So we're looking here at space science. Space. The final frontier. Look at that. Space. Some big old telescopes taking these photographs. Look at the craters on that asteroid. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't come our way. Well, it won't, will it? Next we've got Poppy. Business and consumer. Poppy. Poppy. Usually I'm good at sort of picking things up while I'm turning the pages, but on this occasion I'm most certainly not. So I don't know whether this Poppy stamp does belong to 2012. I don't think it does, so I'm going to leave that to one side and I'll return to that after Annesley Badminton is here. I'm going to just do the ones I know are from 2012, otherwise time is marching on. So there's another space one. Here's another one. Particles ejected from the solar surface seen by SOHO satellite. And another. So we're getting a good old collection here. This one being the largest moon of Saturn. And Saturn's rings. Look at those rings. Very nice. And also another one. It's got to be Venus, hasn't it? Yes, it has, because it's the blue planet. Archery and badminton. More in the way of Dickens. So that's good, because we've had 2 Marchionesses. This is Chuzzlewit, Martin Chuzzlewit. Turn this over, Majesty the Queen. Does it belong? Does colour go in? Yes, it does. Yeah, my bad again. So the coloured, as opposed to the sepia or the black and white, does belong in that collection. Nice little tag there on the end of this. More now in the way of fashion. Female fashion, I would hesitate to say, because they look a bit feminine, don't they? Albeit they're in suits. Don't know what's going on with that. Paralympic Games, so that would go with the sports there. More comics. Topper. That was more for boys, I would say. Particularly naughty boys. It had rascals in there. Boys will get into trouble. Learning lessons. Part of growing up, one would say. And here we have another Olympic stamp, which is to do with cycling at the velodrome. And finally, the Victoria and Albert Museum. So does this belong to Victoria and Albert? Well, I do have, according to this page, yes, it does belong here. It again has been through the post, and it's stuck on the back of the card. Victoria and Albert Museum. Victoria, of course, was married to Albert, Queen Victoria, and Albert was German and spoke mostly German. But Albert, the museum is a fantastic place to go visit London. This series of stamps is the UK A to Z second series. No, doesn't tell us anything, does it? But it's got fine views of Britain. Quintessential Britain, one would say. The White Cliffs of Dover. They'll never get it, Jones. York Minster. London Zoo. All the places you want to go to. Bletchley Park. Urquhart Castle. Stirling Castle. Been there. Tyne Bridge. Been on it. I'm sure there's a lot more. Roman baths. Been in them. Queen's College, Oxford. Never made it. The Old Bailey. No, they haven't caught me yet. Port Meirion, I've been there. In Wales, Narrowwater Castle, County Down. I've not been over to Northern Ireland. Manchester Town Hall, strangely not. I haven't been there. But it was quite nice, lit up then. I'm not quite sure now. So that is the stamps we've got for 2012. This one needs looking at again. I'm sure it will be another year, previous year. But what I'll do is I'll discover that now, and I'll put it underneath in the splurge below, in the splurge. I'm still drinking coffee here. So I hope you're having a fantastic day. We'll get these back into the envelope. We'll put them with the others. I do have stamps, envelopes from 2019, 2020, 2021, that sort of thing. But this album finishes at 2019, so it'll only be going up to 2018, I think. Because this does come in exceedingly handy, and every man needs a hobby, and every man needs a Stanley Gibbons and woman. I'm not against them. So the Stanley Gibbons, I think, are the absolute bee's knees. And if any of you can tell me what Stanley Gibbons' first name really was, I'll be very happy. So we'll leave it at that. Have a fantastic day, everyone, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. The sun is shining. It's very warm out. I've been sitting in the sun, and I've enjoyed this little pop into stamp collecting fun. British Stamps, GB Stamps 2018. Bye.